All right, good evening, everybody. We are going live here in just a second. My fever has broken. I do not feel anywhere near as bad as I did yesterday, so here we go. There we are. All right, so yeah, as a lot of people might know, I got my second shot a couple days ago. So yay, vaccine. Um, it definitely. I'm still not feeling good at all, but I've had a good rest. I've napped today, and I figured we could get a show in. And then I would go back to napping, because I've got all tomorrow to rest more. No Mac tonight. No Mac tonight. He's out doing some gaming stuff. He is one of those gamer types with the dice and whatnot. Not my thing, but they seem to get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I wish I could find something like that much fun. Like I
really,
yeah.
it's about the group. Well, like it is all 100% about the group that you.
Yeah, it's the group dynamic. It's actually having the right group around you, and they seem to be good at picking those people out. So who knows?
Indeed.
So the chat
Plus,
is all.
I heard last week people got to learn a lot of stuff about Mac anyway.
Yeah, well, you were, I think, asleep with how unresponsive you were to the entire world in every way. I believed you to be asleep.
Yeah. So basically, what happened was I slept for about 4 hours after I set my alarm, and I found out that there are some weird quirks with the iOS alarm clock, the system native one.
Yep.
But what happened was I left it screen up, and after the alarm fired again, because when I finally woke up hours later, I went and I dismissed it. I accidentally hit snooze because it was like I was on that screen, but it wasn't playing an alarm.
Yep.
And then the alarm went off again, and I watched a cat go over to the screen and just like paw it, and that somehow broke the alarm. After it didn't loop the sound effect after that. So now I'm putting that fucker face down now.
Nice.
So it's not that I was sleeping through an alarm going for 4 hours straight. It's that I highly suspect that one of my cats sabotaged me.
One of your cats did it to you. Sometimes cats can I don't know. I think sometimes they do that shit on purpose. I think they're just smart enough. But anyone who doesn't know, QG Pennyworth in the chat is my wife, and yes, she has tried many times to get me to, play those wonderful tabletop games. That is a thing of hers too. I know one of the funnier moments when we first started hanging out was I learned that she actually knew the lightning bolt guy. Like, they weren't, like, best friends or anything, but, like, they knew each other. They're from the same area out there, and she used to LARP a lot, and I was like, no, you do not. And no, she did. She knew that guy from that viral video with the lightning bolt with what they were, like, beanbags or something. I don't know. None of that has ever done anything for me. I do want to say this, though. A couple weeks ago, me and you and Mac and in the chat, like, near the end as things were dying down, started rambling a lot, and we started talking about, like, some movies that we all liked that were entertainment and were not good films.
Yeah.
And one of them that came up that I joked I actually have that shirt was this one right here.
Oh, God!
Which I do, and I wear it unironically. Because while, yes, it is a bad movie, it is broken in a million ways.
Let's be real.
I enjoy it.
Jurassic Park. The first one, even Jurassic Park, it doesn't hold up.
No.
It really doesn't.
If you scrutinize that thing, no.
It's quotable as fuck. But it's not a good movie. It isn't.
Thanks for the gift sub. Dude. If you,
for
exactly.
The memes.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to, like, watch the science of it or any, like, real theory, then no. I mean, none of it holds up at all. Period. Which one is it? Is it the third or fourth one? Where they go back with the family whose kid is now lost on the island?
That's 3.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. So in that one, I want people to just watch for one scene, which always was weird to me. They were trying to get in the plane and take off, and they were getting chased, and a guy falls, and then doesn't get eaten, and then they make it in place. They start going down the runway. At the end of the runway, he's waving at them, trying to get them to stop to pick him up. Now, my question is, how did motherfucker outrun the plane and then get at the end of the runway and to try and flag them down? Like, just watch for that scene and you'll see it. And you'll be like, why didn't I see this when I first watched it? But the whole series is full of that shit. So what? It still entertains the hell out of me.
Yep. I really like. I can't watch any of them. I can watch the first one with regularity. When they did the re-release in theaters, the Jurassic Park 3D, like I went, I saw that shit.
Yep.
That's when it really sunk in. It was like critically and by every metric, this is fucking awful.
Oh yeah.
But
oh god, still entertaining.
So yeah, exactly.
That's
Jurassic World, I was screaming at the top of my lungs practically half the time.
Yeah. Again, it's fun. It's like one of the big reasons Fast and the Furious, the first one, did well was not because it got anything car right. Like, all the car people in every car forum on the internet were yelling and screaming that part you just said was in that car doesn't even go on that type of car. In fact, that was a part for a truck, like a big rig that you just named. Like, they got so much wrong, that just, it was hilarious in those movies.
My immersion!
But the people who went to see it were there for the entertainment, and I can watch movies like that. I can watch a lot of movies just for fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Ruby.
I mean, if you couldn't watch movies for fun, then at that point, why does Trauma Films and other schlock exist, right?
Yeah, I see so many people like shit talking this stuff, and I understand. Bad movie, yes, bad movie, but also entertaining as hell. So like whatever. It's not cinema. Go watch Citizen Kane if you want that.
And then you have like the very rare masterpiece of like absolute atrocious piece of filmmaking in every way that takes itself so fucking seriously that it makes it legendary, like Tommy Wiseau's works.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Disaster movie was actually a really good telling of that whole story. Like, I was surprised at how much I liked it.
No, I have not checked that out. It's one of those things I've been meaning to go and do, but like I don't watch a lot of passive entertainment. These days, because like I can't have myself just sitting there.
Well, I keep
by myself.
One of my 5 screens here has a movie or TV running at all times, so I have background noise.
I can't even do that. Like I like my ADHD is as such that like I'm either focusing on what's going on there, or like it's just like background noise, like white noise in the background as I'm concentrating on something else.
Well, I watched yesterday, one of the movies that was on in the background was Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And it's the Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt one where they're both, hitmen, but they married and don't know it and they're hiding it from each other one. Have you ever seen that one?
Yes, I have.
So I like that movie. I think it was pretty well done. But what I didn't notice the first time I watched it long ago that I did notice during the retelling here is spoiler alert. Although it's an old movie, so who cares? The person that they send out, the chump low guy on the totem pole to be the bait to get them both to show up. That guy who's the bait for them. When they show up and they start interrogating him and they're beating him up in the chair, getting him to explain what's actually going on to them, and Brad Pitt is standing over him like about to punch his ass, he's wearing a Fight Club t-shirt.
Oh my god.
And I was watching, I was like, wait, there's no way. And then they lined him up perfect with the camera, and I'm like, Brad Pitt's about to punch a dude wearing a Fight Club t-shirt. That's awesome.
That
works for me.
That's good. That's some good shit right there.
Yeah.
Somebody asked how my kid's doing. Look, I don't want to talk about that right now.
Yeah, the trope we have from Snatch 2. Oh god.
Yeah.
You know what I read about today, which was just like completely I believe it, and it's what's next. Someone has trained GPT-3, the AI model, of course, and it now writes all of a couple websites' real estate listings.
Oh wow!
It looks.
I have a GPT-3 key that I keep meaning to go and like really dig into. Every time I tell I like, oh yeah, I have a GPT-3 key. And they're like, wait, 1, how the fuck? 2, you're not using it?
Like, there's good fun to be had with that key. I applied for one, and got one, and then got it revoked.
How the fuck did you get it revoked?
I flooded the living fuck out of their API for like 3 hours straight to the point that they got mad at me, and then reviewed why I'd been given it in the first place and realized that my application should not have been allowed through at all.
Oh, wow.
And it shouldn't have. I had no actual rights to that key. But I thought it was funny.
I want to teach it. I want to teach it how to do a buffer overflow or some like really terrifying shit, and then watch as humanity crumbles.
Let's go. Oh god.
Yeah.
So I thought that was hilarious. Another thing I saw today, which I thought was interesting, and today is the day because like the last couple days, I've been like out of it. Like I've barely been alive. And that actually knocked me the fuck out. But I'm back now. I'm here, as you can tell. I'll crash. I'm already starting to feel a little hot. So
yeah, I've been barely alive too, but for more not illness related.
Yes,
issues,
yes.
More personal. Yeah.
I have been following. Sometimes by choice, sometimes because I'm tagged by everyone. Ever. So many threads that I am in that I never interacted in. Like a couple of with like 100+ tweets, and I'm like, what is going on?
You could say there's always you could say that there's always some kind of controversy with the ladies in my life, no matter what.
Nonstop.
Yeah,
I honestly think that you thrive on drama. I don't think you actually intend it to happen, but I think it somehow works for you.
Yeah, it does. It does. Especially when like people try to make things out to be something they're entirely not, and I get to have that smug satisfaction as I just tear all their arguments apart. And then they just have to be like, oh, okay, cool. What are we doing here?
Well, I mean, today what we're doing is if everyone didn't know, it's a National Punch a Nazi Day, which it is every day. And to celebrate Punch a Nazi Day, the National Terrorism Watch Group of the U.S. government put out notice saying that as COVID restrictions ease, we can expect more domestic terrorism from the right.
Oh boy!
So that was a warning put out by the National Terrorism Alert people there. So that's funny.
Absolutely incredible. You know, because like like. None of them are fucking wearing masks and shit anyway. I don't think that the pandemic has stopped them in the slightest. I don't know about you. Seems kind of like an odd warning to me.
Yeah, like we didn't already expect that. But
yeah, like this can get worse. Oh, fuck.
Well, you know, I don't know. Like related to all of that, with the masks that you just said. The CDC, like, yesterday tells everyone, hey, if you're totally vaxxed, you can maybe go outside and indoors without a mask. And so, of course, the way they worded it meant that all the blurbs were just going to say that. But the detail of the message is a little different about, you know, how you're supposed to do it and all that. But, you know, that detail's never coming out. People read headlines. And so the nurses union today put out a statement saying that they completely denounce what the CDC said yesterday, and everyone should ignore it. We aren't there yet. The science doesn't back it up.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah,
it don't.
Like mask up, even if you're vaccinated, because you can still spread it.
You can still spread it. There's cases of reinfection. There's you know, the people that are going and getting stuck once and thinking that oh hey, everything's cool until I go get my second stick.
Yeah.
You know, shit.
My arm is still like warm. Like it's still like there's still this big section right here that's like just hard like a bruise and warm as hell.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. Oof. Ugh. Yeah. So you know the other thing that I read about as I started finally looking at the news again today was that now we know that Matt Gaetz wasn't only you know paying for underage women. But he actually was giving women no-show jobs in the government and then snorting coke with them, like, while they were on, supposedly, you know, government pay.
Wow.
So it just continues to add up, and he continues to have his spots on congressional committees.
Oh, of course. It just doesn't end with him. Like every week, it just gets. Well, depending on your sense of humor, it either gets funnier and funnier or more disturbing.
Yeah.
This has been a saga. And then of course, fucking photos come out of Cass Fairbanks, like calling him Bay. Yeah. Woo.
Good old Cassandra.
Like, man, she just shows up everywhere.
She does.
She really does. It's fucking.
Her handlers are using her to the fullest extent.
Exactly.
Oh boy. You know, something I thought you might find interesting, beyond all the new 5G in my body since I got the vaccine, European countries, and maybe Ruby can correct me this one, because I'm going to say it like this: European countries and the UK, since, you know, Brexit and all that, but European countries and the UK have started their continent-wide and nationwide efforts to remove the Huawei 5G equipment from towers, and to bring down all of the Chinese manufacturers' 5G towers and replace them with U.S. manufacturer towers. And I gotta say, like...
You're trading one for the other.
Yeah, like, you've chosen. Because, like, our side said, but the Chinese government has their listening devices in that equipment. And so you should buy ours instead and replace all that. And so now all the Chinese stuff is getting torn down, and they're putting up all of our stuff, which has all of our listening stuff in it. But all of our chips are still, like, made in fabs in, like, China. So it probably also still has theirs. So,
yeah,
like...
Not like, yeah, let's be real here. All of the fucking Chinese stuff, that shit's backdoored by the NSA to hell and high water, too. Like, come on now.
Like, I just...
This is theater. Exactly. It's all fucking... But then again, you ask anyone, it's like, what nation would you prefer? Like, if you could choose one of the three, which one would you consider the biggest threat? Like, people can't figure out if they would settle on China or Russia, and frankly, that's a tough question. Of course, USA being one of those three. Yeah. It is. Oh yeah, GHCQ is. Oof.
Yeah.
Ooh boy. Oh man,
5,
don't even get me started.
6, any others?
Ugh. Just any Five Eyes nation, really. I mean, Canada is fairly benign, but you know they're still doing all the fucking intelligence sharing with their with our partners. So
I'm still feeling it, guys. Everybody out there, I am still feeling it. So, one thing, are you gaming after this? Are we transferring to you? Okay. I'm going to say this now, because I don't care. Tomorrow morning, tomorrow early afternoon, I don't care when, me and you we got to be on a signal call. Because it's movie idea time, because I've got one that you're going to like and these people would want to watch. And we both have people who are out there and willing to listen to us. You're gonna like it too.
Yes, we gotta talk on Signal, and there's another call with another person in the entertainment business. That wants to call me. I forget. You just reminded me, so thank you. I gotta tell her. Yeah, I can call tomorrow. So
yeah, why not? Woo. So we definitely have to get that done tomorrow, because people will like the idea. All right, yeah. So a couple days ago, I was sitting there in bed with nearly nothing to do, and out of my mind. And one of the dumbest things that you can do while completely out of your mind with like 102, 103 fever, that doesn't take much concentration. Look through domains that are expiring. Look for fun domains that might expire. Well, I was doing that because you can just scroll endlessly and you might see gold, and you don't have to think, so it doesn't really hurt, even though you've got that fever.
Domain auctions, they are fun to look through.
So I ended up through there forgetting to remove auctions and only have expirings, so auctions were mixed in, right?
Yeah.
And I found that activism.io was up for auction and ending actually today. It ended this afternoon. And I put a bid in as quick as possible because it was down low. It was down at 100 when I put in my bid. But my
Not
bid,
bad considering that an IO is actually fairly expensive to get by itself. Like those are like $50 or thereabouts.
Yeah. So that it was cheap where it was, but I knew it wasn't going to stay there. There were domain appraisals out there for art already that had been made public that had it up at like 28K, and I wouldn't see it being there, but like it was definitely worth more. So I actually asked in the Discord for people to help out, and a few people really stepped up and offered some, and we got some together and made a bigger bid. Our biggest bid we ended up getting in was $850, and we ended up getting trounced. With an hour to go, the bids really started coming in, and it sold for $3,050 after fees. It was like the actual price was $325, but then there's a $25 fee. So $3,050 for the domain, which I think is still a steal. Personally, that domain is gonna do some wonders.
Indeed.
I had a lot of ideas of what I wanted to do with it, but what it led me to do was go look at other domain auctions, and there are some really shitty domains out there that still have like activism going, where you can like get it for like only a few $100, but none of them were domains that anyone would like. Like, I'm not going to try and find my way into activism.biz. .biz is blacklisted on everything you can blacklist, right?
Exactly. .biz, .xyz.
Yeah. But activism.dev was available for $600.
Ooh.
And that was interesting to me, so I used the money we had raised to get IO, and we now have activism.dev. And
I totally forgot. I totally fucking forgot that .dev was made a TLD a couple of years ago.
You know why I know it was made a TLD? Do you know why I'm always going to remember? Because my local shit was fucking all .dev, and it broke everything.
Exactly. Like all your boilerplate Laravel installations.
So I changed it all to .test, of course, locally, but like still, like bullshit.
Yeah, that was. I'm still waiting for Google to finally ease up and start letting people buy .meme.
Right? Seriously.
I'll tell you, like the moment I found out that TLD was a thing, and I found a registrar that let you pre-order one.
Or whenever they open up the yeah.
Yeah, I actually like a number of years ago, I pre-ordered dank.meme, and I'm still fucking waiting. Okay.
Thank you, Doxy.
Give me dank.meme, goddamn it.
That's a damn good one. You know what I find funny about them still sitting on .meme, a lot of people don't know how the TLD business works, but in order to get a TLD, not guaranteed by the way, you pay $180,000 for the right to apply. So you've paid $180K to apply for the possibility that they might let you have this TLD. And they can say no and keep the money. So by the time you've got it, after all the lawyers and everything else you've gone through, Google is probably in somewhere around $400,000 to have .meme. And then they're not selling domains off of it right now. Like they could have recouped that in a day if they sold that shit. With premiums alone, just with premiums alone.
A lot of people don't realize too is that there are corporate TLDs. Like I was talking to someone about this, and they didn't believe me at first that there's a .BMW, that there's a .McDonald's, there's a .Bank of America.
Yeah.
All of these, and
ICANN is indeed.
I linked a couple of examples. Like check this out. .BMW. Of course, the site was like half broken to hell because BMW kind of abandoned it, but it still did the redirect and all that shit. And they were like, "What fucking crazy voodoo is this shit?"
It's insanity.
It's absolute insanity. I'm surprised that those TLDs they don't get used that much.
I mean, people just they got so used to the .coms, the .nets, the .orgs. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I have one of the 2-character .orgs, and I mean, it's a dumb one. It's not anything special. It's .0v.org. But like because there's only hundreds of these things, it's like
I have a single character .com.
You do?
I have a singlecharacter.com.
Nice, nice.
I am going to pull it up because it is I treasure this domain
Right? Like, I
like it
mean,
is
these
my
things are
child.
special. I've gotten offers for this thing that are like stupid for what it is. I think ZeroV.org, I've never been able to figure out what to do with the damn thing. I came into it in a weird way, and I've never used it for anything special. Right now, it's my like DNS server, like, you know. So I have a short one.
Yes, I'm going to show this this singlecharacter.com. I have to visualize this for everyone in the
Oh, you've
chat
got one
because
of the yeah.
yeah, it is special. Just
Yes. You have to open
one
this
moment.
in the correct web browser too, so it draws the Unicode properly.
Oh yeah, totally, totally. Enable preview. All right, we're gonna. This is my baby. This is my. It took me so long just to find a registrar that would even let me put it through. Look at that bad boy. Look at that beautiful son of a
Unicode
bitch.
penis.
A Unicode urinating penis. Yep. Actually, I have a .net too. That's along the similar vein. Let me just swap that one out. I have that .com and I have that .net.
That is
Yep.
glorious, right? That is
I've got
glorious.
I have Cocknet. The funniest thing too is that these days you register a domain and you tend to get spam calls,
Yep.
emails from Indian code sweat houses or
Yep.
sweatshops.
Tons of them.
They're like, do you need somebody to make you a business website? Well, I was getting those calls for the urinating penis one, and they didn't see what it was for. So I would answer and they'd be, hello, do you need business website developed for xn-hu7d.com? And so I would always scare them off, be like, yeah, actually, you know what, I might what is your business? Or, well, how much would you charge for a water sports pornography website? Water sports? Yeah, piss fetish. And then they freak out and hang up.
Of course.
Good way to get them to leave you alone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had one of those spam calls on one of the domains
Oh, that's
I
with
bought a
hidden.
while ago.
By the way, that's with hidden who is info. I mean,
Oh yeah.
there are back channels.
Oh, I get all that
for
shit
that
even with hidden
information.
who is info. But
All hidden who is info means is that the general public can't just punch in who is. But like, if you have access to ARIN's backend database in some manner,
yep.
you can still get all that shit if you're
Yeah, and depending on how your privacy is
sketchy.
handled these days, whether the registrar actually sends in the registration info with it or does an edit afterward on their end, then tools like Domain Tools will capture the initial registration, and anyone with an account there for like $19 a month or something will be able to pull up that first registration, even if it was only registered for a minute like that. Yeah, good times. Yeah, I mean, that Domain Tools is great for that shit. Whew.
I still think it's crazy that it took something like what 15 years for who is privacy to actually become a thing.
Yeah, for a while there
Blows
was
my
none of that shit.
goddamn mind. And if it was found that you didn't give legitimate information for your who is, then they actually have reason and cause to seize that domain. You have to provide legitimate information.
Yep.
I know this because I had a domain seized for that exact reason.
Yeah, I lost a
because,
.us for that.
Yeah, I put Hal Turner's address in and he took it from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something similar.
Yes.
Good
I now have that domain. I have that domain back now, so it's like whatever. It's a fun joke.
Right.
But yeah, he tried to say it was identity theft on his show.
Nice.
Like, no, that's not. No.
Wow. Yeah. So we now have activism.dev, and a lot of thoughts are starting to swim around about it, about what we do with it. I also have a domain that I've had for a little bit actually, analytics.st, which I just love. I kept wanting to put up like a very privacy focused analytics thing called Analytics Street, but I never did. Whatever. But Plausible, which is a completely cookieless, anonymized, very easily blocked analytics engine for you to run yourself, is self-hosted. And I'm going to build that out on analytics.st for us to use for anything we develop with activism.dev. So we can still get some of the analytics we're going to need, because you always need that stuff with web apps.
Yeah.
But it'll be completely anonymized, cookieless, and easily blocked. So anyone who doesn't want to can just do one little thing and it'll never track them again.
You don't need to go and give Google and give Amazon all your data. There are self-hosted solutions. There's stuff like Piwik.
Well, now that's Matemo, or however you say it, right? They changed the name or something.
And even more recently, these days, like say you're using something like Cloudflare. Cloudflare has a good amount of metrics itself, and
yeah, it does.
because it's DNS based, you're actually getting a much more accurate picture overall, because you're seeing where all of these it's doing it via Cloudflare's edge caching, their CDN logs and their DNS logs. So you're getting a more accurate picture without going and sending a whole bunch of JavaScript fingerprinting to Google Analytics. More people need to be doing server-side analytics, like fucking parse your logs, just handle it in-house.
Yep. So we're going to be doing that on our stuff that we dev there. For anyone who's on the Discord or who isn't and wants to join the Discord, tomorrow afternoon at some time, we're going to kind of get together and just start brainstorming a little. I'm thinking sometime around like 2 p.m. Eastern, like somewhere just like simple middle of the afternoon.
You mind if I pair my Twitch account with your Discord server? So
I've had it.
Yeah. Okay. Just so I can also have those automatic live notifications.
Yeah, you should definitely.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Yeah, we don't do anything secure on the Discord server, like none. Like that's not what Discord is for. Discord is for all of our general chat and just kind of public stuff and all the integrated shit. Like if I want to do anything super secure, I do that somewhere else. And I tell people the same. Yeah. No, never do secure shit on Discord. The same as you would never do secure shit old school, like, I don't know, on AIM or ICQ. Like, none of that shit was secure.
Something I would like to, there is
definitely,
an observation
good looking out.
that I have made, in the last handful of years. Anytime there's been a major hack or something along those lines, and it's blown up, it's like huge, it's major mainstream news. Moment stuff starts coming out that this shit went down on Discord, I've noticed that within hours, there is extended periods of major latency on the Discord platform. And talked to some people about this, and it's been surmised that those latency periods are literally feds going and doing bulk collation of data from Discord's databases, and it causes major service disruptions that they don't acknowledge. Like, that's the other thing too, is that it's a pattern of something hits the news, a bunch of idiot kids were talking about or planning shit on Discord, shit goes bad, hits the news, and minor Discord service disruptions without anything being posted on their status page. Really suspicious, but I mean, knowing their database back at, like, knowing how their shit is engineered, it makes sense, because if you're doing bulk queries like that across their entire infra, yes, it's going to be causing those major periods of client latency, just like bursts of all of a sudden, like the last 3 minutes of messages all come through all at once, that kind of stuff, but you're not disconnected.
Yeah, when you have to do something that changes eventual consistency to currently consistent, everything lags for a second, and then you get a burst.
Yep.
That is how that works. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of Discord at this point. I wasn't when we first started, but I knew it was the right platform for kind of easy onboarding, easy talking to people. When it comes to secure stuff, there's kind of a chain of it, right? Like, little more secure.
Private IRCs with TLS client certificates. There's private matrix home servers. There are good ways. And absolutely none of those good ways are like you never rely on something like Signal or like any of these mainstream products.
Yeah, Signal is fine for more secure than Discord, and it's fine for basic stuff. But if you need like literally, I mean, I'm just gonna say this: if you happen to be doing some serious black hat level shit, you better be self-hosting like your own goddamn Matrix instance and having it where people have to VPN in to then even connect to the damn thing. Like, you better start really covering your ass. Like, there's a lot of steps here, and just signing up to something that wants your phone number isn't step one.
Absolutely.
I love Signal for what it is, and it's good, but like, know what you're using these things for.
Absolutely. Just like how even now I'll see people flocking to Telegram or Wicker for not so legal activities, and all I'm thinking of is y'all realize that shit they comply with subpoenas. Like there's a notice that they comply with subpoenas, and
Telegram gave their end-to-end master keys to the Russian government after being told they would have to leave the country if they didn't. I mean, Telegram is not safe. Nope. Hasn't been for a long time.
Not in the slightest. Not in the fucking slightest.
Yeah, so
the fact that all these right-wing shitheads have flocked to Telegram just makes me laugh. Like,
right.
Okay.
Cool. I mean, I think a lot of the people who we dislike spying on that actually are friends with them, so makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's too.
I know, right?
NSA runs a boatload of Tor exit nodes. Well, see, that is true, but there's mitigations for that as well. You can set up your Tor RC to blacklist specific countries. So, like, you can set up your Tor instance to not ever use either as a middle node or as an exit node any of the Five Eyes nations.
It slows you down a little, but it's worth it.
Exactly. Like if you're really wanting to be safe, you generally you block Five Eyes. You definitely block Germany.
I mean, there was a point 5 years ago where if you checked the actual IPs of the exit nodes that were allowing exit on Tor, that it was 36% of them were all in Virginia, in the United States. And wherever, like, whose shit is there? Because it's not the good times. And it was only for like a few months that it was that high of a number. But I mean, again, Tor allows you to locally route around that with configuration changes, and you should study that shit because it'll save your ass.
Yep.
And then you should also use an operating system that actually also forces DNS and everything else to go over the network.
Yes. Whonix is wonderful. Like I fucking love the Whonix project. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but if you're doing stuff and you need to stay safe and you need to maintain anonymity, then you'll definitely want to learn and abide by Whonix. Whonix Workstation and Whonix Gateway. It's a pair. It's a set of two VMs. You use one, the other one is essentially its Tor router, and there is no traffic that is able to go across the ClearNet unless you explicitly go very far out of your way to enable that. But even then, that's not Panacea by itself. We've touched on this a little bit before. But,
yeah, for that I would run.
You want to study the man pages. You want to study every single Tor RC directive.
Cubes has amazingly sane defaults for all of this stuff, and if you load up Cubes and turn on the Whonix gateway for it, all of your application VMs go all the way through Whonix, which has some really sane defaults for the way they set it up in Cubes. And you can put Cubes on a flash drive, and then you are and I'll tell you this about cubes too, is absolutely amazing. Even the application windows will be a different color if they're secure or not. So you will really know. Like, you will really know when your shit is going through the right channels.
Not only that too, but like you have temporary like for high sensitivity stuff, you can run them under a temporary VM instance. Thing with cubes is that it's an OS built around the Zen hypervisor.
Yep.
So every like your USB stack is a dedicated virtual machine that has that you whitelist devices, and then only once you whitelist them can it interact with the rest of the system. Your network interface is a dedicated virtual machine that acts as a intranet gateway for the rest of the VMs within that Cubes instance, which is also why you're able to use a Tor. You have a choice between a regular one or Torified. So you can have the entire operating system and everything within it all routed through the Tor network, and you can have temporary VMs where the moment you close that browser window,
the entire VM is erased. It never existed.
Exactly. It's all resident in memory. It's all resident in encrypted memory, and then once you close that shit, that memory it is wiped. Nothing ever touches swap, which is also why like Cubes is actually really fucking heavy on resources. It has no GPU acceleration.
Oh, you want
there
8
are
gigs
limitations
of RAM for Cubes to run nicely. 4 gigs it'll be okay, but you want 8.
No. I would say eight. You start feeling if you start really feeling.
Well, I'm just saying for it to be usable, because someone was asking about resources, and that question's usually about kind of the minimum. I don't run Cubes on anything with less than 16. But that's because I like it to be a little snappy, and I also do run the extra layers of Unix and everything else, which you're not forced to boot up if you don't want to.
Hello, Sully.
Worth it. Thanks for the sub, Sully.
There's Sakura Samurai right there.
Nice.
What's up, dude?
So Cubes is amazing. Cubes is amazing.
It's Cubes though. If you don't have something that's within the HCL, it can be kind of a fucking nightmare. Like it is.
But there are cheap laptops that work fine with it. There are cheap HP Elites and whatnot that are like $200 on eBay that work great with it.
Oh yeah, that's exactly like I have an HP Elite book.
Elite books are great for that.
Yeah, exactly. HP Elite book. It runs Cubes. It's nice. It's got a 3G
business focused
modem.
Dell Inspirons work fine with it. And you'll find a lot of them with like 16 gigs of RAM that are just dumped in like pallets of like 50 on eBay for like $250 each.
Because they're former corporate machines that are off lease or like their
and then you've got a secure machine.
Exactly.
Good times.
The business
old ThinkPads do too. They're great.
It's funny, like anything enterprise, anything that is enterprise grade. Little trick: always go on eBay if you need some really good, really high end hardware that can take a beating. Always go on eBay and look for 3 to 4 year old enterprise gear, because like this extends to corporate laptops, this extends to Xeon workstations, this extends to rack mount servers. The rack mount servers, it's like, oh, okay, so this machine was $30,000 3 years ago. Well, now it's 3 years old. It's the lease has ended. Your support contracts are expired, and you have zero use for it because you've retired, you've decommissioned it and shit. And now it's $2,000.
Yeah.
Here, enjoy this dual Xeon box with 256 gigs of RAM. And 10 gig E and $2,000. Here you go.
Right.
It's fucking hilarious. If only people knew. Y'all are talking about your consumer i9s with 8 cores and 64 gigs DDR4. It's like, oh, okay, go buy a motherboard with a Xeon socket and go and buy a fucking 18 core Xeon from 3 years ago for dirt goddamn cheap, and
fifth the price and just as powerful, and it is great.
Yeah, exactly. It's wonderful.
So Colonial Pipeline. People wanted to talk about it a little. We talked about it a little on the last show. The major pieces of the Colonial Pipeline that are interesting to me are that, it really exposed to a wider audience the idea of RAAS, which is ransomware as a service. And people are now starting to figure out, how that works. And, a lot of us have known for a long time how that works.
Yes. Yes.
So, the ransomware world isn't like this big world where 300 different pieces of ransomware exist. There's like 10 viable pieces of ransomware that actually are decent enough to really be used, and only about 3 of the people are really actually using. And the people who make it and run it don't actually do the infections themselves. That's not their game. Their game is they build a platform. Like, I'm talking like going to DigitalOcean and setting up a new virtual machine. Like, that's how good these platforms sometimes are. You go to the platform, you get given access to it, and you can spin up the ability to infect things. And
it's turnkey.
It's totally turnkey. And this is where it gets like even more interesting that a lot of people don't understand. If you hit big enough targets, and you come back. So one of them, Darkside was a good example. Abaddon is another one. Abaddon, but they're these groups. They have good English language, phone, and chat-based support 24/7. Like, I'm talking, this shit is like that level.
Yep.
And here's where it gets better. If you are a good customer in good standing with one of these ransomware as a service companies, and you land a whale, like let's say you landed a bank in England and their shit was so owned by the ransomware that what you did with this software, but you felt like, man, I've only been doing this a couple months. I've negotiated a little $5,000 Bitcoin win. I don't know how to negotiate a $1 million win out of a bank. You can call up the support line and offer them an additional percentage of the take. And with Darkside, the additional percentage was only 15%. So for an additional 15%, their master negotiator would negotiate the ransom for you, and then they would take an extra 15%.
Our expert account managers will handle your business dealings with the utmost professionalism.
This is how that world works. Now, what's funny about all of this is that the Darkside one have actually decided, first, they put out an initial statement saying, we're going to monitor the infections from now on, and we're going to, not allow social attacks. Meaning, to them, I think it was mostly like political and whatnot. And
it's like,
so,
oh
like,
fuck,
the Colonial
oh
would have been
shit,
denied.
the heat's on, oh fuck, yeah.
And then a week later, just a couple days ago, they decided, no, instead of all of that, we're just gonna give. So they've shut down their service, and they've issued to everyone that was an affiliate or a franchisee, however you want to kind of call this, a user of their service, the decryption keys for every current existing infection, so they could go and uninfect everyone, and try and lighten the load, and then run for the hills.
The only reason, I tell you what, the only reason why they probably shut down operations is because, like, the Colonial Pipeline, those dipshits actually paid the $5 million ransom.
Yeah.
And then found that the decryption tool was so slow and garbage that they just decided to continue their previous plans and continue to restore using their own backups anyway. So I mean, they get a $5 million payday.
In the Darkside documentation, if you were a user of the RAAS, the ransomware as a service, it actually had a clause in their terms stating that every now and then the decryption might not function as intended, and your target might be angry, and that they had a system in place for not only refunds, but that if this ever happened to you, you'd get a full refund for that month's payments that you owed them for the ransoms. So, like, damn.
Yeah.
This is how organized they were. This is how professional they are. These people still have these skills. All these systems are still in place. They're just gonna rename.
Exactly. They're going to rebrand. They're going to lay low for a while, wait for the heat on Colonial Pipeline to die down, probably. Let's see what their competitors in the space probably do, and then ramp back up operations. I'm sure a few of them are probably going to retire.
Yeah, they'll take some
definitely
of the
in the cards.
Well, so with them, what's interesting right now is we don't know if this is a pure exit scam run from the people really in charge. But,
is it a scam if they are cleaning up their loose ends of the business?
So the
though?
people,
that's the thing that's always bothered me. The phrase scamming.
But this is why I used it. This is why I used it. Because the person who put out the message stating that we were kind of winding down business here also said, one of the reasons we're winding down right now is yesterday someone emptied our damn Bitcoin wallet. And they said it in a way like, we don't know who the fuck stole all our money, but at that point, we're kind of like just running for the hills now. Now, that's why I'm saying, did that happen or is it an exit scam? Like, are they saying, because I don't believe it did. You don't have this system in place and that level of security on your damn wallet. You do not have your wallet sitting somewhere where people can get at it, for one. I mean, you have that shit offline. You open it up to hot storage for the time it takes to move to cold storage, and then
shit's gonna be multi-sig. Like, come on, they're like, no way. No. Like, you're doing that shit. No.
I don't buy that story for a minute. So I think they lied about their shit being emptied. They emptied it themselves and ran.
Yes.
But that just means they're gonna set back up. I mean, they're gonna use those funds, rebuild. It's not like these services are that hard to run. You've just got to be able to keep up with the latest exploits. And in the zero-day marketplace, I mean, a good, like the Black Hat guy mentioned, the Cisco, the ATT 4 there. The exploits that were used in that were like $500,000 exploits on the open market. If you're making like $5 million from one hit off a Colonial, you can afford to add that $500,000 exploit to your arsenal before it's made public. And you can use that for a few months and easily make the $500,000 back. And there are sellers in that space that do not care who they're selling to. Be it a government that's about to do something horrible, like, say, go and murder a journalist named Khashoggi, or a hacker who's about to infect the pipeline.
There's brokers like Zerodium and the cyber weaponry in the cyber arms industry is a thing. It's a thing. Yeah. It exists. Like for every 0 day that gets disclosed by a researcher, I would say at least half the time that same 0 day had already been shopped around to private brokers. And like this is all legal too. Totally. This isn't black market per se. Like I mean, there are black markets,
but you can do it legally.
Yeah, you go try to sell it to
NSO Group or happy to buy if you've got a good Windows.
They'll pay.
They pay good.
If you like Zerodium, for instance, they're the most well-known one. If you have a solid exploit chain like no-click iOS exploits. You can get $100 grand out of that. Yeah. Like that's a really fucking good payday.
The no-click exchange chain was like $200K when it was first there, before they ended up letting the government go and repair all the damn systems with it.
Yeah. Before disclosure, a lot of people are going to go and see how much they can get for it, and if it's like, oh, okay, you're only going to pay me a couple thousand for it. Well, I mean,
I'm going to go get some additional resume points.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is going to be big press. You know what? I thought a couple $1,000 or big press. We're gonna go with the latter here. Thank you. I'll talk to you probably next month. It's like that. It's one of the dirtier sides of the infosec industry that not a lot of people talk about.
Well, one of the things that I always found funny is, especially way back. Back in the old EFNet days, we'd be sitting there and, at that point, 0 days would last a lot longer before the public ever found out about them, before they ever landed on, like, Packet Storm or something, those old websites. And you'd be sitting there, like, we had the one of the DNS 0 days, and we could spoof anything anywhere, and we could, like, tell any system that our domain was whatever the hell we wanted it to be. And we had that going for 4 months before it finally got reported, got an actual number, and got patched. And it wasn't reported by any of the people involved with us. It was just some of the researcher found the same bug. And and that happens a lot. Like, people will be exploiting the hell out of something, so you'll know there's a hole there. You just don't know what it is. So you reverse what the people are doing in the wild until you find it.
Exactly. That's that's why people run honeypots. Why people hear that, oh hey, there's something being exploited, and they go and they quickly throw together a quickie pot and try to catch somebody doing active exploitation in the wild, and then you reverse engineer it, so on and so forth. Like it has a endlessly escalating cat and mouse game, in essence.
That one wasn't hard to figure out either. I was surprised we actually got away with just spoofing our asses off for 6 solid months. It was that one was the initial DNS poisoning with pre-query response, because UDP doesn't require an open connection, so Bind had a bug in its caching where we could send a response properly formatted as if it had asked to resolve this IP address. And then it would cache it, and then you would connect right afterward, and it would see that it was cached and just use that response. So you'd go to connect to an IRC server, but your software would first say, this IP is this, to their DNS resolver. It would cache, you'd connect, and you'd show up as whatever you damn well told it. But at that point, what was worse is they had no character limitations, no filtering of any kind on it. So we would do shit like, random like channels on old IRC back then were like large for some reason. Like, and I know it's a joke, but like the Texas channel on the IFNet was one of the largest on the entire server, and it was full of oppers, like people who run the network in control of the channel. And so we would sign in as I would sign in as w at asterisk dot asterisk. So asterisk at asterisk dot asterisk. And it would be the asterisk character. And then you join and leave and join and leave really quickly, so their bots and their scripts would auto ban you. Which would, of course, ban asterisk, and then the bots kick everyone, then the server goes mad. It was the most fun that you could ever have. Like, we had like 6 months of just fucking with them. We finally started getting oppers coming to us and begging, could you just stop? Until the hybrid IRC people who were already working on like their version of a server in very alpha versions came up with a patch for them, and all of EFNet patched before even the Bind people got their patches in. But that shit was hilarious, because we had a lot of fucking fun with that. And also we just took over random channels because we would see who got auto-opt by bots, and then we would look at their host mask and then join as that host mask, and the bot would op you, and you know, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with that shit.
Oh,
it only lasted 2 months patched, by the way, before we had another bug, and that one lasted another 3 months for us. And for people wondering, the first bug was named Erect, and the second bug was named Jizz, and it was erect.c and jizz.c. Yeah, the pumpers were having fun back then too.
Penis pumpers. God, that's a throwback. Fucking DDoS King is a banger of a track, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, hijacking MSN rooms was a lot of fun back then. We had a lot of fun just back in those old days when there was so much less security. There's still like no security. Like, you can still, like, as we've seen, I mean, Colonial Pipeline, right? There's still like, you can get into anything if you try hard enough these days. But back then, you could get into everything with kind of almost not trying really hard. Like, it was not that complicated.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I mean, just remember this. Kevin Mitnick got famous in the 80s and 90s as a hacker. Like, have you read his shit? Like, it was easy back then. It was easy back then. Don't worry about it.
Mitnick is just a social engineer, nothing more.
He was a good social engineer. I'm not going to argue that.
Yes, he is. I'm not arguing that either. But as far as anything technical goes, he just stole shit, really.
He was very good at copying other people's code and changing the name on it. Although so were a lot of other people back then.
And he even still does that shit today with the OMG USB cable bullshit. Yeah, he's still just as much of a fucking jackass.
Oh yeah.
Woo wee. Somebody tagged me on Twitter recently and said that and it was like a list of their heroes and idols, and it had me in there. It had John Jackson, and it also had fucking Kevin McNick and Sabu in it. And I'm like, kid, we need to talk.
Yeah.
Like,
we need to step outside for a minute so you can understand.
This is not okay. This is not okay. You need to fix yourself. You need to fix yourself before oof, man, you are on a bad path right now, buddy. Woo-wee.
Right.
Yeah, that would I think they understood.
Yeah.
I hope they did. Never tag me with Sabu ever. Okay? Just don't do it.
No. It's rude. It's honestly rude.
Yeah, it is. It's honestly rude. And I say this as somebody that he actually fucking messaged on Keybase a number of months back and freaked the shit out of me. Okay.
Yeah.
I gave him shit.
Oh, I just don't respond. Man. Yeah, but I mean, we were talking about the colonial thing and the ransomware stuff. I don't know. I find it all interesting. I got to play around with one of those ransomware as a service dashboards. 5 years ago almost now. Goddamn, time passes too fast. So, I mean, it's been like this for a long time. And it's just gotten better to the point where they've made so much money now that they have, phone support staff, refunds, and expert negotiators, on call. I mean, it's insanity how big this has gotten.
Oh, God.
It's absolutely crazy.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So war crimes. Do you want to talk about or touch on some war crimes?
It's time to touch on war crimes, everybody. So let's start this off by saying very clearly that you can hate what the Israeli government is doing. You can hate Netanyahu and that government without being anti-Semitic. It's pretty simple.
Exactly.
You don't have to hate Jews to hate what Israel is doing.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And anyone
that tries to conflate any criticism of the Israeli government and their war crimes with anti-Semitism
is probably a Zionist pushing an agenda.
Exactly.
Because you can also be anti-Zionist and not anti-Jew and not anti-Semitic.
Exactly.
It's a thing.
Yes.
You can hold two different ideas in your head at once.
Israeli apartheid is the thing. Their constant, blatant admittance of committing war crimes and being supported by the United States government to this very moment. That is a thing. Earlier, what was it? Was that today? Things are happening so fast that I'm starting to lose track. They blew up an Associated Press building.
Yeah, they blew up a building full of press and some civilians.
Yeah, they gave them 1 hour warning and destroyed a building that they said was harboring Hamas weapon caches, of which not a single person in that building had ever so much as heard of, and they leveled a building that held
and again
press
that
offices.
Is a war crime. Specifically targeting civilian buildings is a war crime. And the press, of course. So
suppressing press.
I am going to ask a friend of mine, someone who I honestly just love as a human being, Stanley Cohen, to be on the show next week or the week after, depending on his schedule. But he is Jewish, a lawyer down in New York, who has represented many activists, but even he has represented Hamas. And this is a Jewish lawyer who has represented Hamas, and who states very clearly that under the international laws of war here, under all international treaties that exist, Palestine is legally considered occupied, and thus occupied by a military force, which means any reaction by the people of Palestine, even military, even violent, is justified by international law. Thus, Hamas are not terrorists, but they are in fact freedom fighters. And that is his argument. And one of the things that's interesting about Stanley, and we'll get him to talk about it if he comes on the show, which I think he will. He's been doing podcasts lately. is one of the things I heard him talk about was he was chased by the government for over over the last like 25 years. They did everything they could to try and get him in trouble for all the various people he's represented, because they hate that he's representing these people and winning in court against the government. He's killing them. They ended up using the IRS against him to try and find where he might have made money off of these sanctioned people that he would represent in U.S. court without them having to appear. And they couldn't. After like 20 plus years of looking into his finances, they couldn't. And he said it was because I didn't take any money from these people. I represented every one of them for free. And he did. And, it's amazing what he was put through for standing up for people that he believed were right, that I believe were right.
You should have him on. Yeah.
And so I'm gonna invite him on, see if he wants to come on and talk about this stuff with all of you. I'm sure you'll all have questions for him. But for our crowd, you might remember him as the lawyer who helped represent a lot of the PayPal 13, the Anons.
Oh, wow.
He was No's lawyer. That's how he kind of came into our sphere. Like, he saw all the Anons who were fighting and fighting something that he believed was the correct fight, and he threw himself into the mix.
Wow.
He is our kind of guy.
Sure as shit sounds like it. Yeah,
right?
He would be a cool guest.
Let's catch up with
I don't know. Have you reached out to Sarah Hightower yet? I know I suggested her a number of weeks back for.
I actually haven't. I completely forgot about that one.
You should, because then you can have an anti-cult episode, which it's very topical. Actually, I found another hard drive in my garage. It was there was a hard drive sitting next to a DVD that came from that same event, and a hard drive was from around 2004. And let me see if I know where and I laughed because the photographs from 2004 on this hard drive were of myself and a handful of other people on Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Nice.
We dressed up as pirates and then decided to go and crash the local Toronto Church of Scientology.
Because it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. I was like looking at it like, holy, what the fuck is this prior art ass bullshit here? You know, I have a set of photos of us like doing the e-meter thing, and then we actually managed to convince them that to give us some of their shit from behind the counter without paying for it. We actually convinced Scientologists to give us DVDs for free.
Nice.
Somehow. And I found the DVD. I found this hard drive, and I found the DVD as well. So I've got this like retail Scientology fucking DVD just sitting there. I'm like, God, that's so fucking weird.
That is kind of weird. I have Crazy upstairs in my attic. I have boxes of Crazy because I have the complete Scientology courses, all of them in their DVD form, in the latest revision, all still plastic wrapped in like perfect, like in their big packages that come like this. Like, you open it up, it's got books and everything, all straight from them. Someone during Chanology, one of the ex-Scientologists, I think, ordered them all, because they all showed up at my front door one day, just all these packages. I opened them, I searched for any electronics, of course. There was nothing. And someone literally just sent me, and each one of these boxes is between $3,000 and $5,000, depending on which course it was. So it was about $70,000 worth of training courses at the time was sent to me, and they're still up in my attic, because like, what? I'm not watching this, but I also don't want anyone else to have them because I don't want to like infect the world with this bullshit. But yeah, so it's all just sitting up there. Like, I should take pictures of some of it at some point.
Oh my
Ugh.
god. Yeah. Shit. Also, man, I look like garbage in these photos, so I'm not even gonna. I was gonna show them, but I'm taking another look at them. Like, wow, I look fucking awful.
Dude, I still have pictures of the Chanology events that happened in Israel, where we had Israelis and Palestinians coming together for the event.
Oh wow.
Sitting somewhere on a hard drive. I gotta find those. I'll bring them out for the next show next week. I know I can find them. Well, I actually have two e-readers here. I have a Mark III, which is the one from like late 70s, early 80s. It's the blue plastic thing. But I actually have a Mark I, the original. The ones that Hubbard himself made. I have one of those that was
the ones in the wooden case.
Yeah, I have
wow.
I have a Mark I in working order. There aren't many of these known to exist, and I should not have it. But an ex-Scientologist who passed away, who was a dear friend of ours, had it in their possession and gifted it to me, along with a few other pieces of their interesting collection of stuff. And so I've decided that who better to have these two things than someone who will put them in an attic and hide them away from the world.
You should go get a wood burner and like and just burn an autograph into it.
Right.
And then fucking auction it off for cult for cult deprogramming and recovery initiatives.
I wonder what that would actually bring. I've seen Mark IIIs sell for like $1,000 or so, but like I've never seen a Mark I sell.
Huh.
One of those like it's like an engraved wooden box and everything. It was actually from the RTC boardroom. It was like one of the ones used in the boardroom by like the heads of the damn cult. Because this person was one of those people at one point before realizing what they were doing to the world and escaping, and then educating a lot of ex-Scientologists on how to get out.
How did you screw around with the e-meter? Well, I mean, it's all it is like if you actually take a look at the electronics of the fucking thing, it's just a continuity meter.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's you hold 2 tin cans, and the more continuity, the more the wire goes up. So like if you grip them tighter, continuity flow increases and the needle goes. Or if your hands are really, really sweaty and damp, then clearly your thetans are out of fucking control.
Right.
So I within 10 seconds, because I'm doing hobbyist electronics and shit all the time. Within 10 seconds of grabbing the thing and looking at them, like, oh, okay, I see what this is. And I'm just like subtly, I'm just gripping it and watching the needle go where, and I'm like, oh my god, is this bad? Is this bad? Why is it doing that? Why? Nice. Oh no. I tried to just like play it straight, like as fucking worried as I could possibly be. I'm like, oh, this is freaking me out. No. Somebody who wants to try it? I'm done with this. Oh, still can't believe we social engineered them into giving us free shit.
Yeah, I still can't believe all the shit that ended up in my attic from Chanology.
Oh man. Ugh. First thing I did was go home, take the DVD that they gave me, and fucking rip it and put it on the internet for everyone to laugh at.
Nice. That's what I did with Cybercrime of Hate when they gave me that DVD with all of us in it.
Oh my! A lot of people that were around or adjacent back then, like they didn't even know that DVD ever was a thing. Anonymous Hate Crimes.
Yeah, that DVD was awesome.
Yeah. If you sell like I would love to watch that and just have a if you or anyone else that has a copy wants to rip that and shoot it over.
I do still have it up in the attic somewhere.
Yeah, that would be a laugh, because given when it was produced, I would have to wonder how much of that shit covers my specific brand of bullshit, because from what I've heard, they really tried to make us look like awful demons.
They really did. It was I think hilarious personally.
Ha! That would probably be a good fucking time. It probably cost them 1 million to produce. Yeah, so $5,000, and then a whole bunch of production expenses for them to have, for them to go and filter out via um uh you know uh what, money laundering and shit. Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm seeing if I still have it even on my drives here, because I might still have the ISO image somewhere. Ugh. I don't know if I find it. We can definitely all maybe we can do that for movie night one of these weeks.
Oh god.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Oh, that would be fucking.
Yeah, nobody needs that photo set or that one. Where is?
He found his nudes.
I spent a lot of time on a nude beach down in Florida. I admit it.
Oh wow, wow, swinging a hit. Look at that.
Dude, I have no shame.
I know. Hey. I've Cherry, not Cherry Beach. Wayland's, Hanlan's Point. It's one of the 3 beaches on the Toronto Islands. It is the chillest fucking beach you can go to. It is Toronto's nude beach.
Yep.
Then what? Like, yeah, depending on one point in the summer you go there, like you will have a fucking party because somebody will roll in with their yacht with a mariachi band and going and like having a fucking live band in the water, and everybody's just going and fucking partying in the water, passing around joints and beers. Like last time something like that happened to me, like I don't know, like somehow I ended up with 3 cans of PBR and a joint, and within like 5 minutes. I'm like,
nice.
Man, this is jamming.
Yeah, no, it's fun down there in Florida. South Florida, you can have a lot of fun if you hang out with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like I'm gonna have to go search my attic for this thing to see if I can find it or not.
Worth it.
That's a thing I'm gonna have to do. I'll do that this week when I'm feeling a little better.
Yeah, because like as far as I know, the distribution for that, like they didn't sell it. They went and they like dropped it.
Yeah, they gave it to all of us who were like in it.
Yeah, like here's our proof that you are all.
They walked up to me at a protest and said, "We thought you'd want a copy of this." I'm like, "Yes, I do actually. That's awesome."
Damn right, motherfucker.
Can I have another?
Haha. just send me a crate.
Seriously, I wanted extras. They did at one of their exhibits they put out there, where they were going around yelling about psychiatrists and psychiatry being all bullshit, which they do every now and then. They brought them to that and had them. They were just handing them out to people who were going out the door. That's how they got rid of the last of their stock of that, I think.
Oh God.
Yeah, like, great.
Yeah.
So what are you going to be doing after the show tonight?
After the show tonight, I'm gonna be streaming, a handful of things. I'm probably gonna go back and chip away at Judgment some more. But before that, I've started going and playing some of my older games in my library, stuff that I kind of dropped because either the way that I played games when I was playing them before, I had a higher latency display, or I just I just like fell off it. But now I'm revisiting just a lot of esoteric games.
Yes.
A lot of really trippy ass games. A lot of rhythm games actually. On top of that, I figured out how to get some of my older consoles ingested through one of my capture cards.
Nice.
And dug out my PlayStation 2. Went and messed around with that. Got my hard drive working in that again. So I got some frequency. I got some amplitude. I've got a whole bunch of Japanese bullet hell shooters.
Nice.
On newer consoles, more rhythm games. I if anybody's played Thumper or knows of the game Thumper, I was streaming that a number of days ago, and I actually I forgot how tense and stressful that game is. And I'm actually able to play it properly now because I have a low latency display, and I'm not like struggling with timing.
Right.
But like after every stage, I'm practically white fucking knuckle, and I'm literally breaking out in a sweat because of how tense. I'm literally like fucking flailing around trying to stay. Like my whole body is moving with me as I'm going left, right, and yeah. So lots of stuff like that. I streamed I on a whim. I streamed a full playthrough of Res Infinite, just showing off some of the more artistic and esoteric games that I love in my life. Like, and I'm a fucking Res fanatic. I own a mint in box or a mint factory sealed PlayStation 2 copy, a factory sealed physical release PS4 copy. I have the Dreamcast release. Yeah. I have I even have they did a PC collector's edition for Res Infinite, and they made 888 of this collector's edition, and it's an orange cassette tape. Like I even have that fucking thing.
Nice.
So I love Mizuguchi. I love his games. They're all like really rhythm focused, and I've been having fun showing them off. And Luminous, a puzzle game. It's kind of like Tetris, right? Yeah. He made that too, and I was streaming that because I have the Luminous remastered. I remembered that I bought that and I played it one time, and I forgot that I had it. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna try and unlock the last skin, which you need to max out the score counter. So an hour, I did a single game, and that game lasted a fucking hour, and I got about halfway there. Streamed Res. Apparently did a top 5 world record speed run.
Nice.
By accident of Res. There's a lot of fun stuff that goes on. So I'm just going back and doing a little bit of variety and kind of melting people's brains with stuff like Space Giraffe. You know, it's fun. It's a good time. I needed a break from playing the same game for upwards of 200-hour stretches. A very narrative focused. I just need to like refresh it up a little bit, and people are enjoying that.
Nice.
Plus, I really miss rhythm games. That's why I pulled out the PlayStation 2, because I want to fix on my Dance Dance Revolution pad, and y'all can watch me play fucking DDR again.
Nice. I agree with Sully. Give me CS 1.6 all day. Everything past that, and I'm just like, meh. Every FPS went downhill from there.
Yeah. I gotta say though, getting my PS2 hooked up, and then having to deal with the hell that is deinterlacing, and just doesn't matter how low latency you get one of these flat panels, nothing is going to be like a CRT ever. Like it's not. It just it doesn't happen. Maybe OLED gets close, but still not quite as instantaneous. So I go and I load up some of these old rhythm games from the days of CRTs, and I'm trying to play them, and just like my timing, I'm like constantly fucking up, and I'm getting frustrated as hell. So then I spent an entire day 2 days ago looking up homebrew solutions for the PS2. Apparently now you can override the video output through homebrew, and you can actually output 1080p on this thing. Shockingly, like the PlayStation 2 is capable of 1080p output, and believe it or not. There's compatibility issues, but like I'm just going and trying to shit out a progressive scan signal so that I'm not doing deinterlacing, and I'm not dealing with the additional fucking like 20, 30 milliseconds, because I cannot deal with that. So we're gonna see how well I've tuned all of this shit, and if I get frustrated and go back to the PS4, you'll know why. How's the house hunting going? I got a couple of places that I put an inquiry for yesterday. In my area. I'm frustrated as hell because the like the housing market being what it is, like all I'm finding lately are I'm finding places that are a third of the square footage of where I live now for like $500 a month more than my current lease. You know, uh, I'm not happy. I am not fucking happy at all. Um, at least I'm finding places that are still gonna have a garage and stuff for my car, but like,
Yeah.
oh man, really
No fun.
frustrating. No, at least I won't be able to. I won't have to move far. From what I can tell, you know, like within 5 to 10 minutes of where I am now, and I'm gonna still have that direct fiber connection. So I'll find a place to go and set my rack up, and you know, have all of my infra lit back up, just like it was before. Figure out where I'm going to stick that shit once I settle on a place and move. I still need some fundage for that. So when you're watching, you know, like, follow, subscribe, push the channel, tip, bring your friends,
All the fun stuff.
all of
Do it
that,
all.
all that fun stuff.
So, you know something fun I learned yesterday, because I just watched a bunch of YouTube videos because my brain was fried and I couldn't do much else.
Yeah.
You know, I knew a lot of the like history of id Software and all that fun stuff, and Carmack and Romero and all that. But
Have you read Masters of Doom?
The one thing I didn't know was that they came together over attempting to port Super Mario Brothers 3 to PC. I did not
that's
know
where Commander
that.
Keen came from. Yep, exactly. It was a tech demo.
So yeah, so they saw Super Mario Brothers 3 and wanted to bring it to the US on PC, and they actually, while just being employees at SoftDisk, on the side moonlighted making a tech demo of
Carmack
actual
got the
working,
parallax scrolling.
yeah,
working
an actual working Super Mario Bros. 3 on PC, and yeah, and they didn't actually get it. Nintendo said no, but the guy,
the engine made Commander Keen.
yeah, Scott Miller from Apogee came at them and was like, so what can we do? And from that, they took the tech demo and just took the Super Mario out of it and made Commander Keen on top of it.
Dope fish lives.
And I think that's awesome that Commander Keen actually started as Carmack and Romero and Hall trying to port Super Mario Bros. 3 to the PC.
Yep, and not only that, but like a lot of people don't realize that Commander Keen, as far as the id multiverse goes, Commander Keen, Billy Blaze Jr. is the great grandson of, or either grandson or great grandson of B.J. Blazkowicz from Wolfenstein.
Yep.
And the Doom Marine is Commander Keen's great grandson in the future. Like, yes, there is a family lineage, and this is confirmed lore, believe it or not.
When I go back to play games from that far ago, you know, sometimes I'll look at those, but honestly, the game that people still look at me sideways for being the one that I go back to is I go back and play Hexen. I love Hexen.
Yeah, any of those Doom engine and Build engine games, like just all of them. They're like fucking Hexen, Heretic. On the Build engine side, like you had Blood, you had Shadow Warrior. Hell, I'm even partial to Chex Quest, for fuck's sakes. Like,
it wasn't a bad game. It was entertaining.
It wasn't like, oh wow, they Chex made a full-fledged Doom total conversion and packed floppies in boxes of cereal. Like that's really fucking cool.
So I found something from our discussion earlier, and I want to show this to everyone. So here comes an image up on the screen.
Rise of the Triad, another glorious one.
So that's the DVD that they were handing out to everyone, who was either in the DVD or at the protests or walked into their building for like a month.
Or like anybody they could dox and find where they lived or their families.
They would mail it to your house. yeah, they would mail it to your house just to show you that they had your docs. Yeah, it was that's the wonderful DVD. It is quite hilarious.
I guess you're welcome, COS, for giving you so much material.
Yeah, I mean the production value was there. Like you could tell they put some money into it. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh man.
Woo! Hello, new here.
Hello, XX Kiwi Shay XX. Welcome.
Good times. Everyone, I am starting to fade. My head is definitely on fire right now.
Yeah, I looked at the clock. I was like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen any moment now. I just know it.
I went as long as I could. I didn't think we'd get another 3 or 4 hour one in us like we do sometimes, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. If I don't lay back down, I'm not gonna feel better tomorrow.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my video here. We're going to keep talking and chatting with the chat a little bit here while I go and set up for us to go and raid and swap over to my channel for some Saturday night chill time.
Yes, yes. Now, I'm surprised we made it 2 hours, honestly. I didn't
even realize it'd been 2 hours. Like, goddamn. Sometimes time just flies.
Definitely. And
enjoy the OBS virtual cam.
There's the OBS virtual cam from our boy. Good time.
I use regular OBS for like Zoom calls or anything like that, and then I use Streamlabs for anything that's actually pushed out to my channel. So I have to kill one application to get my webcam to light up on the other. If I do both at the same time, it turns into a fucking mess, and then I have to sometimes unplug the goddamn webcam because the fucking
OBS is a little grabby with resources. It wants them and doesn't want other things to use them.
No, and then depending on your operating system environment, when there's a conflict like that, then everything just shits the bed, and you got to go and start killing processes in your fucking turn. Like you have to start doing some kill -9s.
Thanks everyone in chat there. Yeah, I appreciate that. I tried to keep up my energy here, but I'm feeling the extent of just talking. So the vaccine is still on top of me. Like you probably can't see the shine of it on the camera there, but like I mean, I am actually like sweating right now from the fever again. So it is time. One of the things I do want to say though, very initial thoughts open to completely being something entirely different, but one of the very initial thoughts that I had as I hit the order button on the activism.dev and started setting up the actual site for the analytics side of a lot of our other projects, including this one. Was when I think about activism as something that needs to be developed, I think a lot about how much activism is organized from its start on Facebook, and how I feel like that's problematic. Not that it doesn't need to end up there, because if you don't have events on there, you miss out on hundreds of people showing up, and you need that. But just a lot of ideas around how do we solve that problem in a way that's accessible and usable. The other initial, very baseline beginning thoughts I've been thinking about are things like, Massachusetts, we have a bail fund here for anyone at the protests, any of the activists who get arrested, for not moving when the cops tell them to or get attacked. The bail fund goes and bails them out. And I know a lot of other cities, their mutual aid groups, their anarchist groups, and generally their Antifa groups all have these things. But I think having a way to, set up an event and then automatically know what those phone numbers are and what those email addresses are, and also your local NLG, National Lawyers Guild numbers. If you've ever been to a protest and you see the people with the green hats who are watching and taking notes so they can show up for your court case if the cops do something, right? Just all that information that, a lot of new organizers and new protesters don't know about, or even marshals, people who want to put on the yellow vests and try and make sure we don't get hit by cars and whatnot. stuff like that. Like there's just so much more that goes into successfully organizing protests and outdoor activism these days. And my head starts to head in that direction when I think about it. So I think initially that's where our discussions are going to head. But again, I'm 100% open to other ideas. That's just the direction I'm thinking right now. There's a lot that could be done to kind of distill all of the knowledge and education. Like Ruby says in the chat there, the education required to really do this type of stuff properly. You know, it's not just go to Facebook, set up an event, and hope people show up. I mean, the amount of work, and QG Pennyworth in the chat there will be able to tell you, the amount of work that goes into making a flyer that someone will actually read and not say, oh, you've handed me trash, and then throw it right away. But one they'll look at quickly, realize that it'll take 2 seconds to read, so they'll read it. There's a big difference between the flyer you make and the flyer someone who's been doing this for 20 years makes. And just that knowledge alone in templates on how you properly distill information down to people, it's just, there's so much to be learned through years and years in the field that could be put into a platform that educates, that teaches, and that also provides the tools necessary to do these things. And I'm thinking along those lines. I'm also thinking about building it out in open source, of course, and somehow as an open API, so whatever tools we provide would be consuming the same API that we would be exposing for other people to consume as well. So that kind of stuff. So just, if anyone wants to show up to chat tomorrow around like 2 p.m. Eastern, when we start talking about this stuff, that's where my head is right now. So just kind of have that in your head there, you know?
Will do. Myself and everyone in the chat.
Yeah. So let's go. Kurt is ready. I am fading. And we are going to get this raid on. Let me pull up the control panel here, because that tab had decided to no longer be running anymore. Maybe it wants to come up. Wow, okay, cool. Everything moved. Let's go. Let's see if it thinks Kurt is live, which it usually never does. Yeah, no results found. Okay, let's refresh again.
Oh, thanks for the sub, Sully. Dang it, Twitch!
I hit the raid button. I come over here and I type in Kirtaner. There it is. All right. Hey, this time it only took 2 instead of 10 tries.
Nice. Well, I before I even said anything, I let it sit for cook for a minute or two, because I'm really tired of the like, is it ready? Is it ready? Is it ready? Is it ready?
All right, it's thinking about it. It's doing the thing. All right, everyone. Good night. This was fun. I'm glad we actually got to do this. I'm going to get some more rest. I'm going to rest up a lot before we chat tomorrow afternoon. Then I'm going to probably go right back to resting afterward. I'm hoping other people have ideas, or like, you know, the ones that I'm having right now. But there we go. Everybody, here comes Kurt.
Oh, God, people. 45 viewer raid.